It's welcome to It's Basically Monday podcast, where we report the news, life, philosophical questions, pretty much anything interesting we can think about. I'm your host,
Hey, who are
Super
you?
Bop, and yeah, do I say my name on here? I'm pretty sure I do,
I've
don't
said your
I?
name several times.
Okay, yeah, Valero Zanoni. It's me, your guy, the boy, the
Yeah,
dude.
I can
I
be
mean, the
reached
boy.
at.
I'm about to be 32 years old, and I'm about to be a dad. So maybe not so much a boy, but hey, in my mind, like,
The
I'm still
boy.
that same kid that I've always been. And then we got, yeah, are you doxxed, also? Are we just all doxxed here? Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yep.
all right. And then, yeah, we got Gouda. So Gouda, John, and Valero, we're all here. So,
Yeah.
Uh,
You can
we're
say
ready
my
to kick
last
it
name.
off.
No one's gonna find John Gray.
Yeah, you're automatically ambiguous, like with your name, which is
Yep.
just brilliant. Like you're like you can become a spy or just like a transient and no one can find you.
Yes. Yes.
All right, well, I so we actually kind of recorded this opening already where I kind of went into this like long, like randomly winded like detail of what Wakanda Forever was like for me. But basically, I just wanted to go over it again, kind of let you guys know this is probably the only interesting thing I've done in the last week. But I saw the new Black Panther movie, Wakanda Forever. I thought it was like surprisingly good considering Chadwick Boseman had already died and like he was supposed to be like the main guy in this movie. But like they actually like in the storyline, like everything like got wrapped up and made so much sense like on how the other characters in the movie acted and like dealt with it and like moved like and the whole country like had to move on basically. It just made so much sense. Like it was done like really realistically in my opinion and pretty well. And like the only way I would have known that like him not being in the movie wasn't like part of the writing was just the fact that like they kept like they did a couple like montages like of just him and it was kind of like pretty obvious that like we're supposed to be like having a moment of silence for this guy in the movie. But like aside from that, they did pretty good. So yeah, I'd say if you get a chance and you want to watch it, I would say go for it. It
Was
gets my
it
thumbs up.
was it better or worse than The Menu in your opinion? I know they're different kinds of movies, but just
Ooh,
overall your enjoyment.
they are different kinds of movies.
Yeah, if you just had
I
to
would
rate your enjoyment.
say I was, they were both pretty
Yeah.
engaging. I would say maybe Wakanda Forever is a little bit more interesting, like minute for minute, I would say. Like it's just slightly faster paced, but otherwise they're both really good movies. I would say like they're on par,
Yeah.
like with the quality
That
of the film. But yeah, Wakanda Forever, you could tell they got the budget, they got the
yeah.
masters behind it. So like it's a
Well,
hard comparison.
it's an action movie, yeah. So, but I mean, considering you had to think about it for more than like 2 seconds, and like the movie I compared it to is a movie like you said that's just it's slower just on its face because it has to be because it's like there's no superpowers or anything. It's just a regular movie like that's pretty good. Like it's good to at least know that the the movie wasn't just good because it was a superhero movie. Like you saw some value in the story.
Yeah, which is I feel like which is kind of like hard to come by, especially with like Marvel
Yeah,
movies and just other
absolutely.
like franchise
Yeah,
superhero movies, or really
definitely.
any like superhero movie in general. It's just like everything's cliche. You usually know how it's gonna end before it even starts.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
yeah. So like, yeah, it's fun when you get something that's like more realistic on how life goes. Because like in life, you don't always like win every battle, but like. But yeah,
Yeah,
they did it in the movie too, so like it kind of made it feel more relatable, which is nice.
yeah.
So, anything good happen with you guys before we start digging into anything positive? Because like the topics we have today are not necessarily that like happy per se, but they're realistic. So, you guys do anything good this last week?
Yeah. Just today, actually, I took Mila to this sort of activity that they had at the elementary school in our town. And basically, it's like they bring in a bunch of different stuff that's rated for like like kids from ages 2 to, I don't know. It looked like the oldest kid might have been 7 or 8. I don't know exactly, but basically it lets kids who don't go there like basically play in this room and just like hang out and do stuff, and also obviously like socialize, because like my daughter is 18 months old, so she doesn't she doesn't really have a lot of opportunities day to day to like hang out with other kids. So yeah, that was a good experience. Like I got to see other kids, see how she interacts with other kids, which was really fun just because for a long time she just was really shy, and now she's sort of coming out of her shell. So it was cool to see her personality and see how she interacts with people that are about her size.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Like, so no one like, and so no one else's kid like came up to her and just like
Yeah.
dumped a bucket of paint right over
No.
her head or
Oh,
anything.
no, nothing like that. No, there were
Okay,
there were
that's
too many parents to let that happen. I mean, there was like one or two sort of overactive kids, but they were just like they were also the bigger kids, so I think they were just blowing off steam. So like all the kids were pretty good.
okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always afraid with like, man, like what are other kids gonna be like? Because
Yeah.
like you're literally the worst version of yourself when you're like the younger you are, basically. Because I mean, like you always become better, like you would think, as life goes on, and like you don't know anything when you're that age. It's like it's not necessarily always the parents' fault, but still, it's just like you know, like this kid, I don't know what to expect. Like,
Yeah.
what is this kid gonna do? Like I didn't raise him, so it's like, can I trust like what he's gonna do? I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for me, kind of like yeah, seeing other kids that are my kids' age and like how I handle that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the first time too I got to like stand around and like see other parents, and like they like do parent talk, which is like, like, hey, I apologize in advance for my kids, so and so. Like, it's just something parents I see do. Like, everyone just like has a phrase that they say about their kids, where they're like, they just say it as a lean back phrase when they're about to encounter new parents. And I feel like I got a lot of that today. Like, everyone had their own saying about their kids. So it was just weird to
Do you
be,
have one?
no, not yet. I don't. I did say something earlier that I thought, wow, that's pretty dad like to say, and it was like a bad joke. I don't even know what it was. I don't remember what it was about. Like I let it exit my brain so fast after it happened because I was like disappointed in how bad it was. But
You're like, I need to forget that ever happened.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think I just have those moments throughout the day. But I thankfully did not have it today because I think we are still the youngest parents out of that group of people. Like, and we had the youngest kid. So we're not, I feel like everyone else is just like 2 or 3 years ahead of us at minimum. So we're still the youngest parents, but everyone treats us like, we're still parents. They're just like, yeah, man, you know what's going on.
That's nice.
So do you see yourself making parent friends from this group?
I don't know if this group is gonna, it's like a regular thing. Like from what I know, it's a one-off thing. But assuming like I saw that group again, yeah, I could see a few of them just based on how they carried themselves. Yeah, I think so.
Do you feel do you feel like you're going to be obligated to be friends with your daughter's
Yeah.
friends' parents?
Yes.
Like if you didn't like your daughter's friends' parents, would that affect how you feel about your daughter hanging out with that friend?
N- no, so not in public places, but it might in situations where I would be trying to, I'd have to rely on that parent that I don't like. Like if I don't like you, like it's one thing if I like don't like you because I just don't agree with maybe some of the things you think, but normally the problem with that is that it carries on to how you act in some way. So as long as it wasn't something so crazy where like the way you carry yourself means I feel like I can't trust you to like do what's best for the kids, then I can't see myself like saying like, oh no, they can't come over or you can't stay over there. Like if it's something dumb that we disagree on, then it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that was just the only question I had. Um,
Yeah, but there's definitely going to be an obligation, at least to have like a working relationship with those people, because like it's hard as a small child, you can't really have friends without the buy-in of your parents.
mhm.
Like you can't go places on your own. So like we're necessarily forced, at least in the beginning, if we want our kids to have friends, to be like an active participant in facilitating those areas where they can bond.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So you are essentially a friend matchmaker until
Yeah, yeah,
she's like what in school, or
yeah.
at least in an environment where she has access to a lot of people her age.
Yes, yep.
Okay.
That's a fair way to put it.
Interesting.
So would you ever tell her why you didn't trust someone else's parent?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I would not want to tell my even now, which might sound silly because maybe she doesn't understand, but I think she understands a lot more than we give her credit for anyway. So like anytime I tell her to do something, I always tell her why I'm telling her because I hated as a kid being told to do something without explanation because then I couldn't determine whether or not like the person telling me if they had a good reason or not. So like it always just bothered me that I was potentially following the orders of a stupid person.
Right.
But as a kid, like you can't do anything about that. So yeah, I never wanted Mila to feel that way. So I always make a point of saying this, like the only time I wouldn't expect her to do what I'm saying and get an explanation is if it's something that's so immediate that like it could harm her. But like other than that, I feel like it's kind of it would be somewhat irresponsible of me to not give reasons for why I think she should do things.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think there's this false impression that once you're of adult age, all of a sudden, like, you automatically know everything, and that's why you can just be like,
Yeah.
because I said so, but that's definitely not true. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you're a good person for, for treating her with enough respect to realize that even though she's a young human, she's still a human and has a brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, she'll spend most of her life as an adult. Like this childhood part is just like a small part. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
if you treat her like a child, she's gonna be like, "What was up with that? Like, why did you treat me as like that?
Yeah.
Like,
Or
as if I
worse.
was incapable of anything
Yeah.
or nothing at the same time."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Hmm.
All right. Good parenting 101. Give your kids a reason.
Yeah, man. That should be in a rule book or something.
Well, anything with you, Gouda?
Yeah, actually, I
Nice.
saw the Bucks at the Fiserv finally for the first time. So that's the first time I've been like
Oh.
actually
Okay.
in the building and the stadium or whatever. And in
Isn't it nice?
that like district, I think they call it the Deer District or whatever.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's the first time I've been down there, and yeah, I mean, it's cool. Um, I at this point I've only been to, I guess I shouldn't say only, but I've been to three professional sporting events, and I would say that this was the second most entertaining. So, and I've been to a tennis tournament, this basketball game, and a Brewers game, and I would put the Brewers game like at the bottom. But that's just because I have no interest in the game itself. Like what we did during the game was actually quite fun. But I think that's how most Wisconsin sports work. Like the
Yeah.
tailgate and getting wasted is the fun part. So yeah, but yeah, it was a good game. Bucks won in overtime, so exciting stuff. And
Oh.
yeah,
Nice.
um, that's really all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. And dude, you know who I heard on the radio this morning? Or not this morning, I think it was like yesterday morning. Like my Bluetooth didn't connect up to my phone or to my car right away. So like it just turned on like a random radio station. And it was Melanie Ricks from high
Oh
school
yeah.
or whatever. I was like, what the
Yeah,
heck? Like I was like,
I
I
know
know
her.
this voice. And then
Yeah.
like they even said her name. I was like, oh, okay, like yeah, that's definitely her. And then at the end she's like, yeah, you gotta go do something for the Bucks or whatever. So then she probably went to the game and
Yeah.
whatever. I don't even
She's
know.
been
But
affiliated with the Bucks for years.
Yeah.
yeah. Crazy. Yeah, look at us. Now we're on we also are in radio.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, man. Our broadcast
Uh,
audience so big.
yeah. Speaking of, did any of you, did either one of you know that like LeBron James scored the most points?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
aware.
Okay.
Not really. Like
Okay. I
if you
figured.
said that was or was not true, I
You'd
would be
be
like,
like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you'd be like, okay. Yeah.
I was only aware because here in Milwaukee, uh, Kareem is a big deal because he was on the
Right.
Bucks,
Sure.
and that's
Yep.
who he took the record from.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yes, indeedy. I just thought that was an interesting fact about the world. That's a crazy thing. Like, I'm pretty sure he's been playing like 20 years or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he was drafted in like 2003. It's 2023 and he's still playing. So that's a crazy thing to score that many points. I think it was something like 38,900 points. I just can't even
Yeah, but I
imagine.
mean, ask a high schooler right now, like, man, you know about Kareem? You know how he got down? They'd be like,
Yeah.
who the fuck are you talking about?
Who is Kareem?
That's exactly what the kids like 30 years from now are gonna say about LeBron. They'd be like, who?
Uh, I I think basketball fans, even if they're young, know who Kareem is. Like they don't might not have the same appreciation to your point, but I think if you're like a basketball person, you kind of so in an offhand way, you kind of have to know those things because then you hear them so much in conversation if you're talking to other basketball people. So it's hard to be like,
Hmm.
but yeah, your average person, your average kid, yeah, you're absolutely right. They can be like, who the fuck? Like the way everyone in our era knows who Michael Jordan is. Like even if you know have watched zero basketball, you know who that is. I think
Yeah.
a lot of kids are right now, like you're basically what you're saying about what happened to LeBron. Like some kids now are like MJ who.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. It's still a crazy thing. That's a lot of points.
Yeah. I will say that at the game, I noticed that most of the people there didn't seem to be basketball fans. It seemed like
Mm.
they were just fans of going out. And that was definitely like the atmosphere of like the game and everything that they had going on. If they didn't have the ability to blast like music and sounds and like the jumbotron and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure the NBA would fail. 'Cause it was quite surprising to see the amount of things that they put in front of you besides like the actual game that's going on.
Yeah, yeah. It's about the experience, man. The experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I'm into usually. It's hard for me to like get into sports like that, but I'm super excited for uh when Milwaukee gets a soccer team. That's gonna be awesome.
Wait, do
But
they
did
have a
you
name
guys?
yet?
I don't think so. No,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think so. Yeah, that's still being decided. I hope it's not anything stupid. It's gonna be like the Milwaukee like I don't even know. I don't even want to say anything because they're gonna be like, that sounds great, but like, no, it was supposed to be terrible. So
It's
yeah,
gotta
hopefully
be
it's good.
like forest or alcohol related. It'll be one of those two.
Yeah, the Milwaukee DUIs.
Or cheese.
What the fuck? I feel like in Milwaukee they don't go so much for the dairy stuff. Um, I feel like the identity of Milwaukee is more in manufacturing and stuff that'll fuck you up. Although
Industri-
dairy can do that.
industrials.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Milwaukee lower class.
Damn. The Milwaukee peasants.
What about just the
The
Milwaukee
Milwaukee peasants. There we go.
the
Yeah.
Milwaukee workers?
The
Just so
I could see
yeah.
that. I could totally see
so
that.
plain. The Milwaukee
Yeah.
workers.
The Milwaukee
Milwaukee
toilers.
worker.
uh,
Laborers.
laborers.
People around here would be proud. They'd be like, "Fuck yeah, we go to work, baby."
Yeah, we work.
Yeah, we labor.
Yeah.
We the labor.
Yeah.
Well, so also before I get into the not so happy realities of our world we live in, did you guys watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. I watched the first half and then I watched the 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 Rihanna thing. What is that called? The halftime show.
What is that
And then
called?
I was like, all right, this is I've seen enough. But honestly, the game ended up being pretty good, so I went back
Yeah.
and watched the highlights. So I did see what happened. But
Yeah, I did the opposite. I missed the first half, but I watched it from the halftime show until then.
Yeah.
okay.
My homeboy is too good.
Yeah, man.
Mahone boy.
Yeah, my homeboy.
Yeah, he really is. Like how did that like I thought he was injured. He was
He,
like
he
Nah,
screaming. He's
was.
like,
man.
Yeah, he
my
was.
leg. And like, no,
They
he's fine.
injected him. He was like,
Yeah, they gave him the injection. Oh,
ah.
yeah, yeah, they gave him the injection for sure. For sure, for sure.
Yeah, he'll never
uh,
walk again.
yeah, no, he needs to walk.
But it won't matter because he's already like considered by a lot of people like top three in like quarterbacks ever now. Like
That's so dumb.
he's already won two Super Bowls and it's only his sixth season. And he's been to
That's
four and
crazy.
he's been to four. Like no, he's been to four of them. He's won half the
Yeah.
Super Bowls he's been in.
He
Like if
always makes it.
yeah, like if you stop right now, like legitimately there are several quarterbacks who are in probably the Hall of Fame who don't have that career.
Yeah, yep.
Do you
Yeah,
think
that's crazy.
that not Eli, who's his brother?
Peyton.
Peyton.
Yeah, do you think he's one of the best of all time?
No.
Yeah, so how does that make any sense that Mahomes is? Like
Wait, what do you mean?
Peyton has a way better career than Mahomes.
No, he
And yet,
doesn't.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he has at least two Super Bowls, doesn't he?
I think
I don't
so.
know. Let me see.
I'm almost positive.
Peyton?
Yeah,
And
I
yet,
think he does.
yeah,
Peyton Manning.
yeah. And yet already this guy that's been in the league for I don't know, less than 5 years, he's already
No,
considered the best
no.
because
That was his sixth season.
okay, that's still less than 10.
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay. So postseason. Oh, this is postseason. God, like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what year he won. Does
Yeah,
anyone know?
let's just go with I'm right.
Nah, man. That's not. It's not true. So wait,
No,
you're saying you think his career is better than Mahomes?
no, that's not what I'm saying. I just think that I think there's an extreme recency bias with sports generally. Like to say that he's one of the best of all time, like time isn't over yet. Who knows where football is going to be in 100 years?
Oh,
They might look back at us and be like, dude, did you
okay.
see them actually like running on the field with their legs?
I thought you understood that when people say best of all, one of the greatest of all time, they don't mean literally in all of time. They mean up
Yeah,
until this
I'm trying to
point.
say that people aren't thinking hard enough. And to prove that fact, I didn't even go back that far to Peyton Manning, who has like similar stats already, and yet he's
I don't
garbage.
I don't
He's
think
nothing.
I don't think Peyton Manning is nothing. I just don't think he's as good as Mahomes.
I think like
I
it's
think
funny.
it's
I
too
was
early to
actually
tell.
talking to Lorraine about the same thing while they were like talking about in the pregame show. Because like, yeah, he's got four Super Bowl appearances, blah blah blah. And he's like, and then he's got so and so who's a Hall of Famer, and these guys. I'm just like, and then also before the game, they show you like these old guys who are getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I'm just
Hmm.
like, I do not know a single one of these people. And it's just like, how many people are in the Hall of Fame? They like there's like thousands, I feel like, or hundreds. Like it's not even like it's not even like a special thing anymore. Like it's cool that you make it. It's like an achievement, I guess, like in a video game. But as far as like exclusivity and like, oh, there's only a few people, like top five, top 10. Like, no, there's so many. Like, being a Hall of Famer isn't even like that special. Like, there
I
are
think it.
hundreds or thousands of other people who have also like achieved that. So it's just
I
like, eh.
might I might be wrong, but I think actually Deion Sanders was complaining about that very thing recently. I think he was saying that they let too many people into the Hall of Fame because there are categories for non-players, so it's like some broadcasters and coaches and managers get into, and I guess he was pissed about that. But then also some players that didn't really have like that long of a career and only won maybe one Super Bowl and they get in anyways because
Y-
maybe
Yeah,
they were the MVP on that team.
Okay, so it looks like there's 371 Hall of Famers. So
yeah.
there's about
That it's a
400.
but okay.
Literally, yeah, it's just like
So
I
the
can't
number, I feel
look
like
at any of these people and recognize them. So it's just like,
I
like,
feel
oh,
like we
sure,
have
you're
to
a Hall of
consider the
Famer.
number differently though. Like obviously, as more players play, like again, because like when people are saying Hall of Fame, they're saying like you and everyone who came in front of you. Like you can't compare them because obviously they didn't play in the same eras. But the reason it would get bigger is because as we see more people and the sport gets better, you would think that more people would be deserving of that. But like as long as the number in the Hall of Fame is not like a growing percentage of the total players that have been in the NFL, then I think it's still a small number. Like you can't expect the Hall of Fame to only be 5 people or to like only, you can't put an arbitrary number on it because then you can't kick off people from the past because what they did at their time was still Hall of Fame worthy, you know? So like you kind of have to make it bigger in some sense because you have to account for the ability to add more people. But like if it's as long as it's not a growing percent, like if in the 20s it was like 2%, and then like today it was like 10% of all people who've played in the NFL are in the Hall of Fame. Like okay, obviously they're just letting anyone in then because like it grew. But I don't know. I don't think the number of people in the Hall of Fame is growing um, relative to how many people actually make it to the NFL. So I'd still say it's got some allure because it's not like it's not completely easy to just get in. You have to do
I
something.
think it kind of is. I think as long as your team makes it to the Super Bowl, you don't even necessarily have to win. If you are a starter on a
What?
Super Bowl appearing team, you have a chance to get in the Hall of Fame. I believe that.
No, that just by the numbers, that's not true. You have a chance. Like okay, you have a chance.
You have a
Okay,
chance.
so like you
I
might
don't
get through,
know. I
but
feel like by how ambiguous some of these people that I see in the Hall of Fame list are, it almost seems that way. It's like this guy, they must have inducted him into the Hall of Fame and then never spoke his name ever again in the history of time. Like some of these names are 1000% unrecognizable.
okay.
But like
But is it
that doesn't
fair?
necessarily
I was
mean
gonna
that it's
say
easy to
like,
get in, but like
is it fair to
I
even
don't know, that is
expect people
weird.
to have like records the way we like when the Hall of Fame started, the internet wasn't a thing. So like
Well, I
how
mean, they still have like some way to look it up. I'm sure you can go to like your local library and maybe find
Yeah,
a book on.
on the deep sea scrolls.
right, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like if they're writing it down in books and you don't spend much time at the library, of course you would hear their name. Like like we're not even like consuming the media in the same way that they would. So like those people are in already immediately going to seem like not as relevant to what we see in front of us. Yeah, obviously that's the recency bias. I just don't think that that means those players are better. I just don't. I just because like I think every sport is going to necessarily have better players the more time goes on. Like I love Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but I don't think if you put today's Kareem, like if you put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in his prime and just place him in the NBA right now, I don't think he's getting a lot of points. Like I know a lot of people think he could, but I just don't think he could. Like the game's better now. The game's faster now.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, here we go. So actually, yeah, looking at this one random quarterback that I've never heard of, Sammy Bao in
Semi bow, bow,
1963.
bow, bow.
He's had he's played for 16 seasons.
That's good.
And Peyton Manning, he has played for 18 seasons. Uh, wait, passing touchdowns. This is insane. So Sammy Bao has 187 touchdowns. Peyton Manning has 539. Like
Yeah.
it's just like completely blowing him out of the yard or the water.
Wait,
Like
so
passing
Yeah.
yards.
does this Bow guy have a Super Bowl?
Um, career highlights. Let's see.
When was Bow inducted? Like, when did he even play? Did they even play at a
19.
time?
He was a quarterback. He was
And
in
when?
1963.
Oh yeah, no one was fucking passing the ball like fucking 30 yards at a time back then. They were running that shit
Because
up.
it's
They
like
were running that shit up the gut every time. So the fact that he
So
threw
that's
it,
even worse.
that's
That's
kind of
even worse.
no, that's kind of better because the fact that he threw fucking anything at all is incredible with any accuracy. Like back then, they had zero fucking coaches. These guys worked like a second job. They weren't even like playing football professionally in the 60s. I don't think.
I don't know if that's true. I think it was a
Not
I
little
mean,
bit
not
he
more
had
far along.
16 seasons.
But anyway, so did he get the
I mean,
Super
they had
Bowl
a
or
Hall
no?
of Fame. Wait, what'd you say?
Did he get the Super Bowl or no? Or does it
Hold
not
on, let me
say?
just search for the word Super Bowl. Super Bowl. No, the word Super Bowl is not on
Yep.
his like
See?
Wikipedia article at all.
Like,
It wasn't.
He
It
never
wasn't.
even made it.
I don't think it was called the Super Bowl then. We're only on Super Bowl 57 right now. So if he played in the 60s, I think
It
he's
might have
already.
been before the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
it might have been before the official Super Bowl. Like I think it was like an AFC or something championship game. I don't remember the name, but like there was a version of it. I just don't know what it was.
All right. So I went to I just picked 1971 then and just looked at the quarterbacks. There were two quarterbacks who got inducted into the Hall of Fame. We have Norm Brocklin and
Norm.
Y.A. Tittle,
Tittle.
who looks exactly like Mike Pence.
I thought you were gonna say Mike Tyson.
and tell me how many Super Bowls did they have?
Big Super Bowls.
All right, let's check.
All the bowls.
Uh, Mike Tittle or Y.A. Tittle, aka Mike Pence.
Yeah, Tittle.
He only has 7 Pro Bowls, so he never made it.
Yeah, he literally
Dude,
never
I
made it.
told you, man.
Yeah, he literally never made it.
Dude, like, show me the guy out here wearing Tittle jersey. No one.
Why? Why would anyone be wearing a Tittle jersey?
Exactly. Why is he in the Hall of Fame?
And
Because
then
he
Norm
was good back
Brocklin
then.
also hasn't made it to the Super Bowl, but he one time made it to the NFL championship with the Eagles, and then
Okay. Yeah.
that was it.
So he got to the big game. See, that's the bar. Well, I guess not. I guess the bar is just
No.
being like good generally for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of like high performance for how long you can do it, like overall performance and stamina curve, basically. And the assumption
Okay.
there is that if you are good for long enough, there should also be the biggest win possible at some point. And then if you can do it more than once, all the better.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that does make sense for football, though. I can see how longevity would be Hall of Fame worthy by
Yeah.
itself. So,
Yeah, you're
yeah,
literally
okay,
trying to
I'm not
destroy
wrong.
your body.
Yeah, I should give him more credit. But still,
Yeah, but
maybe
still,
like
fuck a tittle.
maybe have a different category like longevity Hall of Fame and just like pure stats Hall of. I don't know.
I just feel like because like it does make sense, like the players get better like over time, but
Yeah.
I feel like for that very reason you should almost be even more strict with who gets let in to the Hall of Fame because you know it's just gonna get broken and more people are gonna get in there. Like just the fact that 2 quarterbacks were put in the same year, like why? Like why are you putting in 2 quarterbacks? Like I just don't.
Well,
Maybe I don't understand how it's exactly working either, but like
yeah, I was gonna say
I don't know.
quarterback is the most mentally challenging of all the positions in football. Like, and so like even though there's not a severe like
And neither of them made it to the Super Bowl. Like
yeah, even though
one
there's
guy made it to the championship, and like that was the best. He was like
but
into
see
the Hall of Fame.
but see part of that is recency bias though, because like we're used to people getting there multiple times if they're any good now. Like I feel like that's kind of the bar, especially having just like had Tom Brady retire. I feel like when people say like, were you good at football?" It's like if you got one, you're probably good. But like everyone looks at Aaron Rodgers for example and says he's wasted potential. Like he should have done more considering how good he was.
It's just the second string. He
Yeah,
was so bad as a second string. Like he wasn't good,
right. And
but
then all of a
like
sudden he
I,
was good.
yeah, when
And
he
then
was
he
the
was winning
main
all of the
person, he got
games.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like that's what I mean. Like we're used to even that being like the minimum. But like in those days, dude, I'm telling you, those dudes those dudes were actually working a different job. Like consistency in football was so crazily rare, so that when people even got to something for a long time, like 7 Pro Bowls, like I know that doesn't sound impressive now because like a lot of guys have that, but it's literally like you were getting multiple Pro Bowls in the 60s. Like holy shit. Like you were a fucking beast. You had to have been. Like cuz you had worse conditions to train in, worse equipment, worse like healthcare, worse recovery. You had worse everything.
yeah, and he definitely has CTE or died with it. One of the two.
Jeez. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you have to sort of pay homage to your past too, because you recognize how how little they could do and how much of them how like accomplished something even with how little they had. And I'm sure someone will say that about us too. I'm sure when basketball's played in like with like jetpacks and shit, people were like, "Wow, you guys walked on the fucking ground. No wonder you only lasted 20 seasons."
Yeah, no, but I agree with you there. I'm just saying because of that fact, I think it's premature to call Mahomes one of the best ever. I just don't think we've seen enough. Yeah, he's
I
good,
I
but
don't. Right. I mean, I just don't agree that when you say the best ever, that's how people mean it. I think people intuitively understand when we say the best ever, we don't mean ever as in the future. We mean ever as in to the point that we've seen, like considering all the history is the way I take that to
that's
mean.
ridiculous still to me.
Yeah, they're
To
just
say
handing
that
that
this is
title
the
out like
best
candy.
quarterback that has ever played the game. Like, and what?
And then the
How?
next
Yeah.
game, this
Well, I don't.
quarterback is the best quarterback
Well,
that's ever
I
played
don't
the
think
game.
that that title changes much in football. Like I think until Tom Brady came, people might have said uh not what's his name who played with
Joe
Shannon Sharp.
Montana?
Yeah, someone might have said Joe Montana, right? So like but then when Brady came, everyone for the last at least 10 to 12 years that I've ever heard talk about football has regarded Tom Brady as the GOAT. So like that's not changing that often. And I still think everyone thinks Tom Brady's the GOAT. Like I'm not saying Mahomes is better than Brady right now. I'm saying like he's close to the top upper echelon even if he quit today. That's like the trajectory that he's on, considering how much has happened so early in his career, and that's very, very rare for considering everyone's history and every quarterback in football. Like that's all that's being said. That's like at this point, it's impressive.
Yeah, but the words that are being said are like best quarterback in the world, like
Wait,
ever.
you heard someone say that Mahomes is the best quarterback ever?
Yeah, that's how they talk about everyone. There's like this guy is
Oh,
amazing.
I haven't heard
Yeah,
I
like
haven't
the
heard anyone say
pregame.
that.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're a Kansas City fan, you probably hear like that all the time.
That
Yeah.
he's the best of all time.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, okay, maybe. I mean, I don't want to speak for Kansas City fans, but I don't, yeah,
They
I don't know.
definitely do talk like that, Blur. But I think that's probably just part of the show. Like they have to be
Right.
so hyperbolic so that the Kansas City Chiefs fans are like, yeah, and then like
Yeah.
are, but yeah, it's kind of crazy to hear them be like, "You are watching greatness right now." It, in the records books, this guy will be one of the best. I'm telling you here right now. And it's like, well,
Well, that already is a record, though. Like in some cases, that's just a true statement. Like it would be a record-setting career if you only played 6 seasons, and in 6 seasons you had 4 Super Bowl appearances and 2 Super Bowl wins. That would be a record career for anyone who only had 6 seasons. So like in some cases that's true.
I
Some
could get
cases.
on as like the lawn snapper for whoever's the worst team right now. I don't know who it is. And just be on like the practice squad and then the team makes it to the Super Bowl. I would break a record for being the least qualified player to ever win a Super Bowl Should I be in the Hall of Fame?
No, because your record doesn't even pertain to like being good at the sport. The record, the thing you're saying that distinguishes you, literally has nothing to do with what it is that you're doing.
Yeah,
I'm on the team,
actually,
and
you know
I'm
what's
supposed
funny?
to do it.
When you bring when you bring that up, that makes me think like whoever like I'm sure there's some like third string whoever whatsoever player on what was Tom Brady's team? The Patriots,
Hmm.
who probably has multiple NFL rings but has
Yeah.
never seen a second of actual like real gameplay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Which is just crazy. Like he's like, yeah, I've got 4 NFL rings, like Super
Yeah.
Bowl rings. It's like what? Like you've never once played in the first team, not 1 second of time. Like, but yet like those people
Do
have Super Bowl rings. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
would
But
you say
like
those people shouldn't get Super Bowl rings?
no, they should. They're part of the team. Like if everyone on the team gets one, they're part of it or whatever. But like yeah, there should almost be like there should be something that distinguishes you from the Super Bowl, and I think that is the Hall of Fame then. But then they put
I
everyone
don't.
in there for everything.
Well, I don't
Just
think
like,
long.
oh my God, you guys. There's like you are about to witness history. Like this guy has made 4 left turns in 100 plays in his lifetime. Like he's about to make his 101st left turn on his second play. This is history being broken, people. It's like who cares? Like some of the stuff is real, and like the fact that he was like 6 seasons, 4 of them were so that actually is
If
like good stats. But like they definitely do fill in like a lot of fluff and stuff. But like again, like Gouda's right. Like you can't go into like a game and be an announcer or like someone who's talking about the game and be like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, what do you think about him? He's all right. It's like,
yeah.
okay, well, what do you think about the other guy in the Steelers? He's okay. Like this is like that's not interesting. Like
Yeah.
no one wants to hear someone talk that isn't passionate about anything they're talking about. Like so you bring in the people who are like diehard fans of this, diehard fans, and they have beliefs in why this person is better and that person is better. And then when you have that, you get a lot of this guy's the best in the world, basically. Like he's one of the best who's ever lived, and like you just get a lot of that. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah.
find like a good middle ground of that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I know it's a business of entertainment, so like it doesn't necessarily have to be a 1-to-1 on reality, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe maybe make the really special guys like feel like what they're doing actually has an impact. Because I can promise you, when Tom Brady has his Hall of Fame jacket, and then Joe Lonsnap gets it for winning
There
for winning the
for the record, no, for the record, there are no long snappers in the NFL Hall of Fame. I just want to make sure that everyone understands. Like we are not that we are not about to just go skip over that, acting like there's a bunch of long
But like,
snappers sitting in there with
like
jackets.
there's like as a specialized position, I guarantee you like punt returners are in the Hall of Fame.
You
You
sure?
can't get that game-winning field goal without the long snapper.
That's hilarious. I'm looking this up right now. Um, long snapper. That's hilarious. Like they
There's
only
one.
have the positions
There's
by
one.
like
There's one punt. Uh, first punter. 2014. There's one guy.
A punter or a punt returner?
No, punter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there should be way more than one. Are you telling me only one punter in all of football history has been
Yeah.
good enough to be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. Because if you look at their position like comparison to the other positions, what's required is nowhere near the same.
there's a guy in the Hall of Fame here who has never played football in his life.
Is he a coach?
His name is Steve Sabal. He just like makes news stories, like sports news stories. Just like, you know what? Let's throw this guy in here. He made us look great.
Are you trolling?
No,
No, that's what I'm
Steve
saying though. But like
Sabal.
to your
Wait,
point, John,
say say it again. Hold on, say the name again.
Steve and then Sable maybe. Sabol. I'm terrible at pronouncing whatever kind of name that is. I don't. Sable.
Steve Sable.
He was a cinematographer.
Mm.
Yeah, he got
Oh
the
man.
Oscar for best football, and then they put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's an NFL Hall of Famer. Like this guy is the best of the best.
Yeah, the best football admirer. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they're just throwing everyone in here, like as if they needed more people in the
Okay,
Hall of Fame.
okay, okay. Wait. All right. So Steve Sable. All right. I'm admit that's fucking wild. Why the fuck? Why the fuck? This guy didn't play football at all. What is going
Hey
on?
man,
He
he
didn't
has
even
the same
coach.
jacket,
He didn't
the
even
same
coach.
one.
He didn't even coach. That's crazy. Okay, I'm with you on that one. That's crazy. I have no defense for that. That's nuts. If you played, there's at least an argument for you to be made for you if you played, or if you coached in some like at least like head coaching or assistant coaching, like you have to be some type of head, like you need to be like head of the offense, the
Yeah,
coordinator, like you at least that level and up. But you're the guy who did films about football,
they
brother.
they need they need to separate it. Make a players Hall of Fame and like an organizational Hall of Fame. Then that's fine.
There,
Yeah,
he can't. There, I wonder now how many other of that 346 is people who aren't actually football players.
A
there's
lot.
actually when you go under like the positions, player position, there's one called contributor, and it's got 31 people under that category.
31. Can you give me
And
some
it
of the
seems like all
names?
these people were not.
Can you give me names?
What'd you say?
Can you give me any of their names?
Yeah, Bolin. He
Okay.
was actually a recent inductee. He
Uh,
looks like he might still be alive.
is coach its own category too?
I didn't see anything. They're only abbreviated, so like
So I
there's
wonder.
nothing called coach.
I wonder if coaches are
Oh, Pat
included in
Bolin,
that.
he's just an owner.
Oh, okay.
Wow. I feel like that's
All right, so you could
kind of
probably.
unacceptable.
All right, so you could probably scrap those 31 people then, in my opinion.
Yeah, an owner, like he just bought the team. He's just a rich dude.
Yeah, put him in.
He must have done something to make them think that he advanced football in some way.
I guess he also
Like
made
like
himself the CEO of the Broncos. Surprise, surprise.
like
So
John
I think
Madden. Assume John Madden didn't play, you just knew that he was like
an
the
announcer.
broadcaster guy. Like his games have like brought so many people to football. Like I could see how you might want to, if he was close enough to be announcing at some point. I can see how you might want to sneak that kind of person in because he did help football a lot, but he still didn't play.
Oh, I see. He was responsible for the NFL's $18 billion TV contract. So there's like, you know what?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
You
like
get to be in the.
you're the reason that we get all this money, so we have to put you in the Hall of Fame. That's
So he
Hall of Fame
literally
shit.
he bought his like name on the list. You can literally buy yourself in.
Yeah, yep.
Wait, how do you buy his way onto the list? Wait, what?
Because like
By
he's just like
donating
made
enough
some
to the
like
organization.
back alley
He
deals
didn't.
happen, and it's like,
No,
okay,
he
now I'm
no, he didn't
I'm
donate.
responsible for all this money happening to you.
No, he's the person that secured the TV deals for them. Like
Yeah,
that,
he donated
he
his
just worked.
business acumen for
No, I think
to
he
go to the
worked.
Yeah.
NFL.
No, I think he worked for the NFL. Like I think he's just someone who secured the deal. Like he might have had the idea, but I don't think he didn't work for the NFL. I don't think he
Yeah,
just.
and he was at zero risk for CTE. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, right.
You need a
Like
at
that
risk for
guy,
CTE at Hall of Fame.
For the
I feel
NFL,
like
yeah,
compared
hell
to this
yeah.
guy,
Yeah, I would agree that it should only be. I see. Like, I still think coaches. I still feel like you could include coaches. Like, I don't know if not having,
yeah, I'm fine with that.
because like
Yeah.
then is there a whole different category for people who are like at most risk of CTE? Because like quarterbacks aren't really at the top of that list anymore. Like the rules around how you can and when you can tackle a quarterback are pretty protective of the quarterback. So like those people don't they're protected in a lot of cases.
Tell that to Tua
There's
Tagovailoa or
a
whatever.
there's a ref on here.
Oh
Like
shit.
he was just a ref. But
Big
I mean, honestly, you're at
ref.
least like doing
Yeah,
something.
you're in the game at least.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, there you have
Yeah,
it,
that's great.
folks.
That's
Pretty
crazy.
much anyone who the NFL really likes can
Yeah,
be put in the Hall of Fame.
yeah. If you've got like 30 of those people, then I'd say take all of them off the list. Just make it players and coaches. Like that's plenty. You don't need all these honorary. It just makes like you said, it makes the Hall of Fame seem like this sort of thing you can just throw around. Like it just doesn't feel like it has any merit anymore.
All-time best player. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, tell me again,
um,
who is the long snapper? Was that a real thing? Am I making this up?
No, there was one.
no, he
There
wasn't
was
a
one.
long snapper.
He
He
was
was
a
a
Oh,
punter.
punter.
punter. So
A
there's
long
not a
snapper.
long snapper in
There
the
is
Hall of
not.
Fame.
There is not.
That
Is a
is
long snapper just really a single person's job?
yes.
Like I always just
Yeah.
figured like the long
Yeah.
snapper was just played by just someone else who had other positions on the
Nah,
team.
man. A grave injustice has been done. Get a long snapper in there.
Why?
Because he's on the team.
So
He's
what?
a position on the team, and they get nothing for that.
Why would they automatically get Hall of Fame because they're just
I'm
on the
saying
team?
I'm
Like
saying
there's got
that
to be like the
yeah,
best
there has
long
to be at
snapper.
least one.
But I don't think the
I'm
Hall
not
of Fame is best of your field. It's best in football.
right.
So
So
a
If you're
long
the
so
best at
basically
a
with
position
that
in
a long
football,
snapper
shouldn't you
can
be?
never get it.
not if he's going up against like people like Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, or like if those are the choices of those three people and two can get in, yeah, the quarterbacks are going to get in before them, and that's just
So
the way it is.
basically, if you're a long snapper, you should quit and just go make cool
No.
NFL videos on
You should
YouTube.
you
Exactly.
should not be a
Exactly.
you should not be a long snapper if your goal for being a long snapper is just the Hall of Fame. Like if you like long snapping, then great. But if you're expecting that to come with the Hall of Fame just because you're the best long snapper of all time, then I don't know if that's I don't know if that's gonna happen, man. That's
I
how
think that's
how the
very
Hall of Fame
reasonable.
works.
I
I
think
I don't think
I
that
think
is.
they should have a slot for long snapper.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Like
You
they
play
can
on the
easily
team.
take
That
off
makes no
some of
sense.
these like fluff
It
guys
makes
and
all
just
this.
like
It
throw
makes
on a
all.
long snapper.
It makes all the sense. They just that position is not valued anywhere near the other positions. That's mostly what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
So they
But
can't
I
share a
understand that.
spot in
I'm
the
just
Hall of Fame
saying that
together.
that further illegitimizes the
Why
Hall of Fame of
why would that
football.
illegitimize it? That should legitimize it. That means you're not just giving a spot for every position for out of fairness. You're literally saying it's about the most work and the best output. And
like
if the
No,
one
but they're not
output
saying that.
if they are saying that though, because if the one well they're
but
not,
like what
so
if
whether
you put in
Is
just as
that
much work as a long snapper,
so
like
wait
in training and
I
stuff,
so I
as the
agree.
quarterback?
I would agree with you if you said like if you took all those 31 people off that we said didn't play and then you put them all long snappers, I would be perfectly fine with that because in my mind, I think those people put in more actual football work than the honorary people that snuck in. So in that sense, I agree with you. But
right? And
if
I
it's footballer versus footballer, no, I think long snapping is necessarily at the bottom of the list because of what it requires. I think everyone who plays the
Yeah, but
game
it should still be
understands that.
on the list. It can be at the
No,
bottom, but it should be on it.
no,
but
it's
that's
not because
the
the Hall of Fame isn't a list though. It's not a list of positions. It's a list of the best people in the football category, and that category is not broken down and distinguished by position. That doesn't make any sense. It's literally comparing positions. It's saying across all positions who is the best that we deem is higher than all the others. So if you're the long snapper, if your output necessarily is going to come behind someone who at best does their job average and still is doing more than you, then it's going to be hard for you to ever get on that list because your max output is a lot of times less than what like the average output of all the other players are.
No
yeah
social
no that
mobility.
that doesn't make
Exactly.
sense for the reality of the situation because the reality is those 30 people are in the list and they have contributed nothing of football playing caliber.
Well,
So
I agree.
I'm
I told
saying,
you I agree with you in that.
no, yeah, and I'm saying that because of that, there should be a long snapper on there. If you're saying like for all the years
I
that
I
football
don't
has
think
been a
so.
thing, and they let in 30 people that have never played football in their lives, that not once, not one person out of that position deserves to be in
That's
the Hall of
that's
Fame.
not what I'm
Then
saying.
like take that position off the field
No,
if you don't
no,
need
I'm
him
not.
that bad.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I agree with you. But when you say what you think should happen, in my perfect world, should not only would I not have those 31 people on, I also not have on long snappers. I'd only have football players, and I'd only have people who probably weren't long snappers. So that's why I said like it's not just the thing of like they should be on the list because in my mind, none of the people that we're talking about should be on the list.
Yeah, and I'm saying if those people are on the list, then a long snapper deserves to be on the list right now until those
Okay,
30
yeah.
people are taken off.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, yeah. You should probably put some long snappers. Yeah, because it is kind of nuts. Like I completely agree that it's kind of crazy that there's that many people who haven't played the game, but again, and who are not coaches apparently, who all yeah, who all are on the list before people who at least contributed to the outcomes of games
Yeah.
directly.
Wild.
Yeah, that's a
So
crazy
Yeah.
that
thing.
Shout out to
actually,
the long snappers.
Shout out the long
yeah,
snappers.
shout out to the, oh man. So that actually brings us to like an hour. So maybe we don't have to talk about the reality of our world and get into like how terrible it is. I'll just say stay away from Ohio and don't breathe the air.
Dude, that's what sports are for. It's literally to distract you from the real world.
Yeah, don't look over there. Just breathe in some of these toxic chemicals that this spilled over in a train derailment.
Yeah,
Yep,
shout out
well,
to East Palestine.
yeah, East Palestine. Yeah, what a crazy name to like name an American city though. That must have definitely been before the Cold War.
Yeah, probably.
Nuts. Well, that about wraps it up for us today. I guess we'll talk about the doom and gloom another time. I'm sure there'll be plenty of it. But until then, see you later.
Bye.